We're fucking live once more for another video game review. In this fine hour, we're reviewing a game called War on the Sea. This game is available exclusively for PC. It does not have controller support, so strike one right there. As usual, when it comes to these PC games, this is a game you have to play with a keyboard and mouse. And it has one of the most difficult interfaces of a game that I've seen in a while. The learning curve is quite steep, and we're going to explore it a little bit and see what it's all about today, and then I'll come back for some final thoughts on the bitch. So stay tuned for that. Here's the game. Right off the bat, you can see it's pretty crispy, so that's a plus in its favor there. You can do training, which is very slow, very long training, and it's kind of it's not as helpful as you might hope it would be. You're going to be better off watching a YouTube video or even this one than you are going through the training modules, because they'll take a long time. Then you have single battle, which gives you really no context whatsoever about what you're doing, but there are all of these different historical battles that you can participate in. And then finally, there's a campaign. You'll notice the music will reset as you go through these menus. That is a flaw. They need to fix that. That's something that can be easily fixed with a couple of lines of code. So they definitely actually just could remove a line of code or put an if statement on this menu here, saying that if the WAV file or the MP3 file or whatever they're doing is playing, they don't play it again. That would be ideal. But anyway, we're going to be looking at the campaign, and another criticism. Unfortunately, this is a mixed bag right here, this fucking game right here. It's a mixed bag. One of the criticisms that I have of this game is at the current time, as of this review, there are only 2 campaigns and only 1 campaign map. So this is the same campaign, both of these, and one is on the Japanese side and one is on the American side. So if you select this top one here, you will be looking at the American side, and then if you are on the second one here, you are going to be looking at Imperial Japan as your faction, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new campaign. Given this is the only campaign, your goal in this campaign is very simple, and that is again one of the reasons that I wish that this would be flushed out, because you've got one objective basically in your whole game if you want to play the campaign. So they've got all this context that they give you here, talking about all the things that happened beforehand, and none of these are playable, obviously. It's probably appropriate that Pearl Harbor isn't playable. No one wants to play that. But the Battle of Midway would be nice to see in this game. All of these battles that are not present, they just have these placeholders for them. And then you finally get the actual campaign summary, and this is all about the occupation of Guadalcanal. And if you can hold Guadalcanal, you win this. And if you can't, then you don't. There are a lot of strategic approaches, tactical approaches to trying to achieve this objective that I'll detail when I actually show you the campaign map here. But this is all happening. This is all happening in the New Guinea area of the Pacific Ocean. So our goal is to maintain control of Guadalcanal, the Florida Islands, and Maladia. So that's the... Yeah, it's good to finally actually hit timing right. This is really late for me, but the work's been busy, so this is the only time I could carve out. But we're going to continue here, and I'll show you how the campaign map interface works. It's there's no... This interface and everything about it, it really is not in any way self-explanatory. Oh, really? Of Romania? I did not know that was happening. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but that whole situation's a goddamn mess, and people need to fucking back the fuck off of each other, is what I think. But whatever. It's not my backyard. But I didn't know that. But you're not Ukrainian. You're Romanian, right? That's what I'm understanding. Okay, that may be the case, but hopefully your country won't actually see battle. That would be unfortunate. Hopefully nowhere sees battle, but even if there is an incursion, because I'm guessing that Russia's not going to be invaded here, so it's not going to be an inward invasion. If anything happens, Russia's going to push out. So if Russia decides to push out, I hope they don't push out into a place where you're going to end up getting the possibility of being shelled or some shit. That would be fucked. But anyway, for now, let's just hope that shit doesn't happen, because that would be a fucking mess. It would be a catastrophe on a number of levels. Fucking stupid. But anyway, none of these motherfuckers in charge are worth a goddamn on either side. I will give you that much. So, anyway, you can see in here, you can zoom in and out of the map, and just this small islets are what we have. Our main base is Rabaul, right up here, and this is where we can choose what naval units we can deploy. It also is an airfield, so it will allow us to run air patrols and things of that nature. The Americans' base of operations are in the new Hebrides, if you can pronounce that, down here, and they can generate their task forces from here using something called, well, I don't know what it's called because I forgot. Let's find out what they're called. Cost. It doesn't say what they're called. They're like battle points or something. They're points. You start out with 200 points. You can actually go ahead and select units based on their cost. So this one costs, this submarine right here, this Type B costs 12 of those points. And a key part of this campaign is the transfer of supplies, much like Koze was mentioning that there's a push of supplies running through his country. There's a push of supplies required to keep things going in this as well. So if you don't address the supply side of the war in this case, you will lose, period. And I am also very bad at this, so you'll see more than likely the outcome of this hour will be not favorable for me. But let's go through some of this. Let's limit this to Japanese ships only. It's the wrong one. Japan faction only. So first we're going to get our supply ships in order. So these merchant ships are the only supply ship option that you have. They do come with a forward gun at least, so they have some means of defending themselves, but it's not very good. They are definitely sitting ducks for the most part. They might be able to defend against a surfaced sub or something of that nature. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to purchase several of these. We're going to add these into this task force. A task force is limited to 10 units. I think that is a unreasonably small number given the size of fleets at that time. But you can have only 10 units in a fleet. So that's something you're also stuck with. One of these things can carry engineering supplies, it can carry troops, and it can carry basic supplies, but it cannot carry fucking oil. Oil needs to be transported in an oil tanker. So we're gonna have to think about that as well. What you mean in this war, or about with the Ukraine stuff? With the Ukraine stuff, Russia's fighting against Western incursion and specifically the surrounding of their area with NATO allies, and also the expansion of NATO, which they feel is a threat. And then on the other side, America is dealing with Russian expansion, which happens physically, as you saw in Crimea, and that's also undesirable on the American side of this, from at least the political perspective. I don't have a stake in this, so I just think it's all fucking stupid. So if you want to know my opinion, that's my opinion. But as far as this war, this is obviously, it was prefixed by all of those walls of text that I refuse to read. This is the World War II, and this is the United States response to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor and their entry into the Pacific Theater of World War II. And specifically only this one scenario, actually, because this game is not very well flushed out, if you ask me, about that. So, both of the wars were arguably stupid. Who starts what? I don't know. And one of the wars it's not actually a war yet, or if it is, that just happened, and I wasn't able to read about it. So, at the moment, it's kind of a standoff there. This is not a standoff here. There will be bloodshed. There will be sunken vessels. So anyway, we need a few of these. We need at least 3 of these, and we also need a tanker as well. A tanker's classification is AO for oiler. They actually stands for oiler, and we'll get one of those. So now we have only 6 slots now to escort these bastards, which is unfortunate. Every week of accelerated game time on the calendar will add new supply and oil and engineering points to your main base that you can use then to continue to supply various points. So as you can see, some of these points are gray. That means that they have not been occupied. So they could be occupied by American forces or by Japanese forces at any point. And if they are occupied, you then need engineers to upgrade those into usable stations, like an airfield or a port, which can repair your ships if you land there. An airfield can obviously launch aircraft. It's pretty important that we establish some sort of ability to launch aircraft around this area somewhere, and I'm probably this time going to go straight to Guadalcanal and try to upgrade it, considering it is one of the primary objectives to maintain. Upgrading it to an airfield will allow us to launch air defense, and that would be good. I don't know who the fuck Thunderlove is quoting there, or if he's just fucking gone off on some kind of tangent. Yeah, if bum occupied, it would be an occupation of beer, and it would have to actually have been against our own country, because Eastern European countries in general have more reasonable restrictions on alcohol sales, alcohol use, especially when it comes to youth. When I went to Czechoslovakia in the late 1900s, there were 12-year-olds coming home from middle school that would hit the bars. We would drink together. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's a different. The cultures are very different, obviously, and each one of the Eastern European countries also have different cultures from each other too. So you can't just say, "Oh, I've been to Czechoslovakia. I know what Russia's like." You don't know shit. Like, unless you've actually been there and you actually fucking establish true relationships with real people that live there. And even then, if you've done that, you still don't necessarily know shit about their politics or their government. That's about how much it costs here too. It costs about that much, Kose. So we have the same price for vodka. I mean, unless you get the dirtiest vodka, in which case you might get 500 ml for $5. But anyway, we need to get some other classes of units in there. We specifically want some heavy cruisers and light cruisers. So CA is the heavy cruiser class. There are several different ones of these to choose from at various costs. I want one that's particularly capable of anti-air defenses. We're going to go ahead and grab some Mogami class cruisers here. That's all the cruisers that the Japanese fleet had of the Mogami class, that they are all in this task force. And then we also want to grab some lighter heavy cruisers, I guess. So I'll grab this. And then we will, your task force is limited by the slowest unit in your task force, which is going to be our supply units in this case, unless I put submarines in this task force, which I'm not going to do. It's very tempting to get a fucking Yamato or something like that, but the cost of a Kongo or Yamato class battleship is astronomical, and I cannot afford that and actually provide the necessary defense to these fucking cargo vessels. So it's not going to happen. But that's always a temptation, and then also carriers are a temptation as well. The ability to launch aircraft directly from your task force is a huge plus, but these things cost so much. So, I mean, given that you only get 200 points to start, and the points do not roll in unless you specifically kill units, this is a very unattainable unit from a tactical perspective, unless you're absolutely decimating them. So
lick a nut and yell yeehaw if you a bitch.
Yeah, afraid gonna have to pass on the nut licking this time. Comp, I appreciate your fucking constant support. You're a motherfucking pillar of this bitch, so thank you for that. Gotta keep fucking delivering these lunchtime streams though, to continue to provide you back what you deserve for your fucking contribution. Thank you so much. Anyway, the motherfucking thing we really should be getting here is some destroyers so that we can shoot some torpedoes. Let's get some Shira Tsuyu class destroyers here. And then I guess I have enough for one more heavy cruiser, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab that too. Lots of heavy cruisers in this task force. How much points do we have left? We have 36 points, so we can get a nice, we get a Tone class cruiser here, and that should fucking round us out here and leave us a few points to spare. If we end up killing some people, we can end up getting another task force that's really small. So anyway, grab this, and then from here you can choose what kind of formation that you want to use. There are different advantages to this. From an aircraft perspective, it's better to be in columns, and since we're going a long distance without expecting any enemy resistance, we're going to go ahead and go with one of these columned ones. So I'll go 2-column right here, and done. And now we have a task force. So all that just to fucking put units on the field. Then you've got the actual units. You'll notice here that it's very difficult to select the units because the fucking base is right there. If you click in the same spot, it should switch from one to the other. This is, again, just some programming oversight that they probably should have fucking thought of before they did this. So you have to click like just on the edge, and it's so hard. I'm all the way zoomed in and I just got it. So that is ridiculously inconvenient. This game relies a lot on shortcut keys. You have to hit the N key in order to get the ability to set waypoints. But before we do that, we have to load up the cargo. If you forget to load the cargo up onto the motherfucking cargo ships and you fucking forage off, you've lost. You've already lost the motherfucking campaign. So the demilitarization of Japan is not indefinite. It is called Article 9 in their constitution. It is part of their constitution, and it can be removed. Just like parts of our constitution could be amended, it requires something akin to a constitutional convention, which requires a large majority of their diet or their parliament or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then also their prime minister has a say in all of that too. It's been proposed by several people, not excluding former Prime Minister Aso, which rhymes with asshole, and it doesn't. I don't think that's a coincidence. But anyway, there are people and parties in Japan that are one of their sole platforms in Japan is to keep foreigners out and to repeal parts of the Constitution that were put in place as a result of their loss in World War II. So they do have a fairly large military, though, despite the fact that they are not allowed to conduct offensive operations. They have a large fleet of our old P-3 airplanes to detect submarines. They've got several ships. They have several other aircraft. They have a lot of troops. They have a self-defense force, which is essentially an army. So they're not defenseless by any means. They have some of the more sophisticated radar equipment out there, and they sell it to us. I actually worked for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and saw them pulling out radar guidance systems and missile systems from their warehouses to be sold and shipped to other buyers. So they are more militarily involved than you might think they are. Just fucking saying. So, but their constitution does prohibit them from taking aggressive action with that self-defense force, which is what it's currently translated to and called by the international community. So anyway, managing cargo is also a fucking chore in this. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the manage cargo here, and when you click on this, then you get this, and you have to individually load each of these fucking ships with cargo. So first of all, we have the Raboul. We're gonna put troops in there. That's one of our merchant ships. Then we have the second one, and then I'm gonna put some supplies in. Actually, I need to go back. I need to change this. I need to put supplies in this one. I need to put engineers in this one, and then finally I need to put fuel in this one. So that's everything I can take, and as you can see I have a lot left. So they don't leave you with a lot of options to ferry these supplies over, and you could go with like a smaller task force and a larger amount of these cargo ships, try to rush in there and rush back without getting hit, and maybe get a ton of fucking supplies out there. It's one of the strategies I have not employed. I prefer to win the naval engagements, so that's what we're going to try to do here. America doesn't honor shit. Every fucking 4 to 8 years, America's just a different fucking animal. It's ridiculous. It didn't used to be as fucking harmful as it's become, but really our position on the international stage just changes depending on what fucking jackass is in charge of our fucking Congress and our presidency, and it's just a fucking mess. I personally apologize on behalf of myself as an American, the fact that our fucking government can't get itself straight or together in any way. It's an embarrassment. So, regardless, let's go fucking, we've gotten that done. So at this point, our cargo is loaded and ready to go. We should now set waypoints. So at this point, we go ahead and set the navigation to Guadalcanal, which is where we are going to be unloading these supplies and hopefully making first contact with the American fleet. Our first contact will probably be aircraft, and we should probably decimate them soundly because we have a significant amount of anti-aircraft based heavy cruisers here, so that should be very beneficial as well. We'll take down a lot of fucking aircraft. So this game operates on the basis that we can do time compression, and I'm gonna have to remove myself shortly from this fucking thing here to show what the hell I'm talking about. So hold on a second here. I am disappeared. So down in the bottom of the fucking screen, you can see that there's a little play button, and you can see the time of day, the month, and the year, and the date. And that matters because every week you're getting more supplied. Every week you get more engineering points and stuff. So it matters what day of the fucking year it is. And as things go on, some units will become available that were historically available at that time period, so there'll be more things to add to your task force than there are at the beginning of this, which is August 7th, 1942. Alright, fucking come back here. So anything I do on that timeline, you're not going to be able to see because I'm fucking in front of it. I don't give a shit. So, time compression can go all the way up to 1,800 times. So right now, time is progressing at 1,800 times the normal motherfucking time progression. And yep, a lot of people recognize it. It's fucked up. And I mean, I don't sit on either side because I think both of them are so dumb about so many things. And that really leaves you nowhere. It leaves you nowhere in this fucking country because you just get fucking dickhole and asshole, and you have to choose one fucking hole. Alright, so every time that air operations become available, you are given the opportunity at that time to launch aircraft. So we can do that here. There are some aircraft in this area. We got some Zeros and some Vals, and these Vals have some bombs. I'm just going to go ahead and send these guys out on a patrol. I might as well send everything out. So that's right here, a task force of airplanes now. And what are these? Are these these are Zeros. So god damn it, it didn't fucking send the Vals out. So again, with the interface being absolute garbage, now I can do this. And so at this point I can fucking set a patrol above or whatever. It's awful, honestly. But they have a maximum range that they can go before they are going too far, and unfortunately that range is just shy of where we're supposed to be. So they're going to be able to go out right here, and then they're going to have to return home. So we'll do that, and then the Zeros have to go the same way. So we'll get them to do the same thing. Their range is significantly higher because they don't carry bombs. So there they go. They're gonna do their thing, and you can also set them to repeat their patrols, which I should probably do. I think this repeats their patrols, so their airspeed should be different. So let's fucking increase time there and stop it here. You'll see it's a bit ridiculous. I'm gonna set the repeat patrol here, and they'll just go on their fucking merry way as this task force approaches fucking Guadalcanal. This guy's not going back and forth like they're supposed to. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Couldn't tell ya. So those Zeros are just fucking doing what they're doing. Yeah, it's pretty much it, Thunder. Sad to say. It's really gotten to that point. It's all just a bunch of fucking dumb old people. All of them. It's sad. Something needs to change. Okay, air operations are available again. We could continue on. Hopefully they will automatically launch. And the Zeros are doing what they're supposed to do, but those bombers are not. As soon as I get within a certain range of... Oh, we've got contact. Let's fight these guys. So these are some bombers here that are probably going to try to attack our ships. So we need to set course to intercept here, and we should probably reduce the time compression to something. Whoa, stop, what are you doing? Ah, it's so shitty. That was awful. Alright, so I should have been able to engage that, but I fucked that up. So there's an encounter here. There's an American task force to the north here. So the Zeros can't do a whole lot with that, so I'm just going to ignore this encounter. And while the time is stopped, I'm going to go ahead and try to get this navigation to the point where I can actually land this task force. Get it to 60x. God, it's creeping so slow. The next one's 600x or something like that. Okay, now we should stop this, pause it, and unload our cargo onto this island. So I'm gonna unload all cargo here, and boom. Now this place is supplied with 2,250 troops, 4,000 supplies, 100 engineering, and 100 fuel. And I can choose to either upgrade this to a... Well, actually, it looks like I can upgrade to both a level 1 airfield and a level 1 port. So that's what we'll do in case we need to repair. And we are going to proceed to attempt... Let me see if I can follow... escort patrol above. It doesn't make sense, but Task Force 1 and Val. So this doesn't allow you to actually track the enemy, unfortunately. What we're gonna do is we're gonna change the... Oh, it's low fuel. So these planes can't actually do anything for us, unfortunately. They're going back home. So we're gonna curl up around here, hoping that this task force is actually heading south instead of heading west, and see if we can engage. Go here, and then just kind of suss this out at a... No, I don't want to go fucking that fast. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, are we encountering now? Task Force 1 has got an encounter, so we can actually go to that. And we're gonna now go into the battle screen. And this is so hard because there's a lot of micromanagement, yet you don't have control of a lot of the really important aspects of this. So this is the navigation map. Here are our enemies, and we are gonna want to... we're already in range, so people are already firing at will at this point. Getting them to focus on certain targets is very difficult. Also, this does happen in real time unless up to 5x. So I'm pausing it here just so that I can suss this situation up of this American task force. And this may be all or half of them. So it looks like we've got some destroyers and heavy cruisers. That actually, yeah, that looks like a heavy cruiser. That's a battleship, it looks like. Probably. That's another heavy cruiser. Maybe it's not a battleship. Maybe they're all heavy cruisers. But that's a formidable opponent, and you can see why I put 6 ships in our task force here. We're gonna lose, so just get ready for that. But we're gonna want to target the first in the line here, or not the first in the line. We're gonna want to target number 3 with all forces. So to do that, it's fucking ridiculous how much shit you have to deal with to get them to attack what you want to, and even then they'll disobey your orders. This is the part where this looks beautiful. It's just like this awesome experience to see it all, and then it's just you don't have enough control over what you're doing. So you have to declare this as a target first with the T button, making it red, and then hit the attack button for each fucking thing on here. And you have to click on this triangle in order to select another ship. So target here is going to be the 3rd one, attack. This one's target is going to be the 3rd one, and attack. So they were automatically attacking the 1st unit there. Attack. And just like in MOBA, you want to take out these things before moving on to the next target. So concentration of fire is a smart thing to do. That one's already targeting the right thing. Music's awfully intense for me just sitting here paused, but it's what has to be done. And you have to click attack every time. This is the fucking annoying part about this. Now let's let this go in real time, so I'll unpause it and just look at the current situation from the American perspective and see what kind of shells are being laid down their way. It always seems like the Japanese ships can't hit the broadside of a barn, and that the American ones just like have dead fucking precise accuracy until you switch sides, and then it becomes the opposite. So there's a lot to not like about this fucking game, as far as frustrating aspects about that. You can hear these bitches starting to fire off into the direction of the Japanese fleet. Now, we have a leader. This is the leader, the Kanagawa. I don't know why our leader is a fucking cargo ship, but it is. So that's stupid, but we're gonna end up splitting. We would have to split this task force up to win. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna take these 3 and try to split them if I can figure out how to do that. Break, and then we are going to navigate these guys out of the way. And they will leave, and the rest of these people God, the interface of this sucks balls. So let's take this. Try to get all these guys grouped up. Let's form this up. Now we've got the Nippon. The Nippon Maru's a motherfucking oil tanker. Not what we want. We need this one to break. Then we can move them. Move him also, or her, or whatever it is. Him, World War II. And now, start with the Mogami. And we'll get this to become a formed attack here with the Mogami as the leader. And now if I give the Mogami a waypoint, they will stay in formation. We need to go down here so that we can cross the T if possible. So these American ships are changing their formation. Or actually, no, these are our ships now. So that's us getting out of the way, as is to be expected. Let's go take a look at what's happening out in the American. So see, as you can see, there's shells missing all over the place. And at some point, I'm going to launch torpedoes at these fuckers. And they have a automatic firing solution thing that never works. So I always manually calculate my firing solutions, and I'm generally not very good at it, but I'm sure as fuck of a lot better at it than these motherfuckers are as an AI. So that's another thing. Anyway, there'll be a lot of missing here. See? Everywhere but the target, you're gonna see these fucking shells splash down again and again. And you'll probably notice that our ships will be set on fire and sunk well before we end up doing a lot of damage to these motherfuckers. The delicacy is on its way.
Look at this. This is the most. This is the most fucking diarrhea shit. This shit sells on the market. My fucking special dish. Look at this shit.
This is the most fucking diarrhea shit.
Luckily, no aircraft to deal with here. Yes. The shrimp cum. That turd came from this ocean. Actually, the reality, yeah, it did. It came from this ocean for sure, because I was in Japan when I cut that shrimp open and fucking ate it. So, as you can see, it's just all around fucking shells going anywhere but their intended target here. It literally is good shit. So they have not broken formation at all yet. Meanwhile, our formation is significantly broken, as you can see. God damn it. I feel like these fuckers don't follow orders. Ever. Now, is that a fire? No, it's just guns shooting, thankfully. No one's been hit yet anywhere, it seems. Lots of long-range engagements going on here, but hopefully we see our heavy cruiser complement wreck these fucking ships. So far, though, no dice. Oh, hey, that's a hit. We finally hit him. Didn't do much, but we got a single hit on this ship here. Only 20 minutes left, so we're probably only going to get to see the outcome of this one engagement, if that. If that. It's a long game to commit to, but I mean, I see a lot of potential in this. I like naval combat sims. I like ones that are like this, that use time compression. This game is sadly missing multiplayer, and I generally prefer games that are more on the side of ship management or aircraft management than fleet management like this. I've had a better fucking I ain't your daddy, bitch. women respect her spelled wrong. It's just one woman that they respect. Not all the rest of them, no, just one. It might be spelled right. I don't fucking know if respecter's a word. So far, take a look real quick at our fleet. Nothing's looking very bad. Those are muzzle flashes, so we're still good here. And it looks like our task force is trying to cross the T here, which hopefully it is. We see a couple of ships breaking off, though. The front of the line is breaking off to avoid their T being crossed here. Putting them in the line of fire, all these misses. Look at all these missed shots that are possibly going to hit these guys now that they're breaking formation. Ted Kennedy, Ted the Bear, Ted Talks, Teddy Roosevelt? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Thunder, again. Yeah, just fucking, this is what the game ends up boiling down to. You sit there and you watch yourself miss constantly until finally somehow the American forces manage to get a beat on your ass and fuck you up. Oh, Donald J. Trump the 30th, or else XXX star, which is quite possible. I would not be surprised if there are tapes of Donald Trump fucking various models or his wife or whoever out there. That guy, he was a playboy, and he might still be. Who the fuck knows? It's a long line of Trumps out there, apparently. This guy's just heading in a very strange direction. Wonder what they're going to try to do. I don't think we're going to have to worry about torpedo launches quite yet. They definitely don't have to worry about them yet. We are nowhere near in a smart range to be launching them. Torpedo launching couldn't be any less user-friendly either. So you may or may not get to see that depending on how fucking slow this is. This game is fairly expensive. I think it comes in around $20 or $30. I'd have to check the Steam store. Sometimes it goes on sale, sometimes it doesn't. But it's not a cheap date, so that's also something to fucking keep in mind if you're thinking of purchasing this. If naval combat simulation is your thing, that's something to keep in mind. Price. And there are other options out there for this kind of thing. They are less graphically enhanced. Like these are some pretty good models and graphics in this, and Battle Station Specific is an example of one that's a lot like this, which is a lot more fun to play, and that is on Xbox and PC as well. But the graphics are far less refined than this. It's a pretty old game, so do with that information what you will. This is a fucking genre of game that is sorely missing high quality titles that are in the leadership position of it. Like if you go to first person shooters, you've got leaders that are very clear. You've got PUBG, you've got Call of Duty, you've got Battlefield. These are very clear market leaders of that genre. There is no clear market leader to the naval simulation genre, unfortunately. It's all over the place, and depending on what level of realism you want and what kind of naval combat you're looking to actually participate in, it's so different between them. No one's actually claimed a spot at the top. Jane's, for a long time back in the day, used to be the top of this, and then Sonalists were very good too, but these games have not aged well, that I'm referring to. So it's a shame, honestly. I'd like to get a good naval combat simulator with a reasonable interface that actually will allow you to have this kind of experience without fucking wanting to fucking beat someone to a pulp in real life if you're done fucking playing it. "15 minutes remaining in the stream," which means in real time 15 minutes for it to resolve this conflict somehow. It looks like everyone's firing at this ship, even though, as you clearly saw, I gave orders to fire at this one. This is why we will lose, and why this game cannot get a full recommendation from me at all. It's just ridiculous. I clearly commanded those motherfuckers to do this, and they are not following my instructions. So I'm stuck with whatever the fuck they decide to do, minus the torpedoes, which are my only chance, honestly, at this point. Oops, what the fuck did I do? Oh, that'll be interesting to look at later. Actually, I've got enough time. I can fucking bring that up now, just because this is fucking crawling to a halt. Oh, this is fucking Bite Binge fucking up his system. Alright, yeah. Yep, that's a great clip. That goes in the fucking gold mine of clips of him fucking it up. Good job. Is he streaming right now too? Oh, it's an oldie. Okay. Man, I've got a whole collection of him burning himself with soldering stuff. Let me look at this ship up here. Oh, I need to, now this is not controlling right, so there's all kinds of fucking problems with this. But we need to have a quick look at the front line here. So this ship has clearly been hit and has a small fire on board. Unfortunately, it looks to be just a little destroyer, which are very quick and very easy to dodge stuff. So even though this thing is hurt, probably not incapacitated. Maybe they're even deploying smoke. But I think this is not a smoke deployment. I think this is just... Well, no, it is. It's a smoke deployment. They haven't even been hit. They're just trying to lay a smoke screen down. So that sucks for us too. That will reduce our ability to miss close. You can see our ship steaming here, and you can also see that already the AI for the enemy have reduced the Mogami here, or well, there was a fire on board here. I guess that was a fire and not a smoke screen. This one's on fire too. Fucking ridiculous. But anyway, moving back to the... I'm not looking at our ships. We had a ship on fire. It's one of these guys. It's the Nippon Maru that was on fire, I think. Nope. I don't know who the fuck was on fire. It's not showing the icon for fire anymore, so they must have gotten that out. That's always nice. Let's take a look from our perspective. Oh, this bitch is on fire, but notice the icon hasn't appeared yet. Flames on the deck. Those enemy are fucking us up right now, and we are not fucking returning fire, even though our position is better for hitting them than theirs is to hit us. So, again, lots of complaints about the way this fucking all plays out. It's really unfortunate. Like, look how fucking... I guess this thing is pretty fucked up right here. But at least we got one ship in trouble. And our shots are starting to get a little bit more zoomed in onto the enemy here. But they won't stop shooting at this fucking destroyer until it is sunk, and I can't get them off of it. It's part of the fucking problem with this game, and one of the reasons that I do not fucking fully recommend it. It's ridiculous. Like, this is a very hard target to hit. I don't want them shooting at it. They're doing it, obviously, or it wouldn't be on fire. So I will definitely add that to my collection. Seriously. At one point, I'm going to put a big montage of all of the fights and fuck-ups together. Post it somewhere. It'll be glorious. the American task force, with no fucking cargo ships, mind you, at all, fucking in conflict right now. We may have to increase the time compression here in order to make it through. It's gonna be bad though. You'll notice that just the AI ends up taking over everything. No one's targeting my fucking actual told target here. It's ridiculous. This is the target I wanted hit. Look at it. Fucking clean. Clean as hell. Meanwhile, these motherfuckers are being targeted. That goddamn piece of shit. I don't own Metroid Dread, so I'd have to buy that. At some point I gotta do it, but at this point have not fucking bought it, so that's on a purchase list. And right now I am tightening the belt on money, so a lot of game purchases are probably not going to happen for the next 2 months because I'm reforming my home, trying to get, if we get to the end of the year, there should be, all the bathrooms in this home will be reformed, and also the kitchen will be reformed to the point where we can host cooking shows, and it can't be done right now. So that's what all the money's being spent on, and it's a lot of money to do that. That's not a small amount of money to spend. This stuff's gonna be state of the art. I want to go into retirement living in a motherfucking sick ass place. So that's why I'm investing in my home. About half of my money that I've built from stocks and investments and working, obviously, I'm going to be putting into home improvement, which will reduce obviously my returns on investment. I'll have half the money to invest, but ultimately it's a good investment, not only in myself, my own like health, my ability to produce content, and my comfort, but also it increases the value of my home if I ever decide to sell it. Since I have full ownership of it with no debt, I can sell that for a higher price. So it's like I get something for nothing because I can sell it at any time. It's probably a higher value than I paid for it. No, I own a multi-story home on a lake. I'm doing pretty good. I fixed my apartment life problems and started managing my finance like a fucking beast instead of like a dipshit. I was young, what the fuck, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I hope someone listens to me about all the financial advice content that I've put out there and does it younger, because I should have been owning property long before I did. And I know you can't really go into motherfucking Japan owning property because, I mean, as a foreigner, your ability to do that kind of thing is different and it's a lot more risk. So I decided to have an adventure with my life instead of being smart with my money. And then I decided to finally fucking stop being a dipshit and put myself in a safe place to raise a child. Had the child, got myself a place that I completely own, completely paid it off, and now I don't have to worry about ever paying rent, which is fucking amazing. Then you get way more money to spend every month. But look at the fucking target! No damage! Meanwhile, fucking Kawaii-so piece of shit over here, it's just a stupid destroyer! We can't sink this. Oh, it's time for torpedoes though. It is fucking time. So, let's get that going. They are not in good lines for torpedoes. So Megami, let's do an about face here. See if we can get this motherfucking thing to actually do what it's supposed to do. Jesus! God damn, they are getting more precise by the second. I need to brake, and then I need to form up the whole damn group again to move. That's how this works. It's so shitty. And then I need to set a new waypoint. I need to get a 90-degree angle here so that I can launch torpedoes. And we will be launching torpedoes in a fan out there. So each one of these fuckers needs to now have their torpedoes directed at the target. So I want to go to manual fire here. That's even possible. These are torpedoes. Manual fire is here, so you have to click that. It's very unobvious. And then I'm going to go ahead and fire. It will ask me what direction I want it. It's I want a better spread than that. So I'm I want all the torpedoes. I want a fucking 4-degree spread. And
for the home, you bitch.
Fire this one up the top and onto the next one. This one's torpedoes. Once again, I'm going to keep the same settings here. Fire a little lower. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Get those torpedoes. And we're going to manually fire those just a little bit lower. And then we're going to get the next one. Get those torpedoes. Bigger amount here. Fire that again at the target. And that's going to be even lower. And then we've got this piece of shit. Fucking do the same thing. Even lower. And finally, Kone, this torpedoes. Once again, firing down here. So we should see some fish in the water, and what good they will do, I do not know. But we need to speed this up in order to see what's going to happen. So now you're just going to watch us get decimated. That's the only thing I can do with this point. Get these guys turning and firing. The Northampton here is heading right into the path of this particular spread of torpedoes, so there's a possibility we could fucking hit those things. We lost a ship, so already... Oh, actually they lost a ship, it looks like. Yep, they lost that destroyer, so now they'll finally target something else. We're gonna go ahead and slow down time compression once we get to the... Okay, wait. It looks like my manual firing solution is in a pretty good spot here. This fucking Perth right here might eat a hell of a fucking armament of torpedoes. Unfortunately, torpedoes quite often dud in this game. Get zoomed in on the Perth. See what's really happening with these torpedoes. It looks like it's gonna be pretty distinct possibility that one of these torpedoes are gonna hit the target. You can see the torpedoes here. There's one coming right in on the ass. Will it hit? Yes, it will, right in the ass. Fuck that Perth. That's gonna fuck that ship up bad. Torpedoes are no motherfucking joke. So, more on the way. Obviously, this was a good move to make this navigation here. I don't think that the rest of those torpedoes are going to hit anything, but that I consider to be much better than usual. 2 minutes left before we actually have to stop this, which is so sad because I want to see the epic conclusion of this. So, see what the fuck. They're running away, which is great. That means that more than likely they're going to try to evade being destroyed. The New Orleans gonna miss these ones. They're very good at dodging these fucking torpedoes, actually. I'm surprised we caught the Perth out as well as we did. But they did not decide to move south. They did decide to move north, which is unfortunate. So, as much as I'm proud of the first spread hitting its target, the likelihood that this the New Orleans could take some here. See if we can. I mean, it's not navigating in a very smart way right now. Oh, it's gonna get away. It's gonna get away. All it needs to do is turn around here. Yep, it got it. It made the move. Made the maneuver. All right, so now I need to direct Gami to navigate towards them. New Orleans is pretty fucked up here. But unfortunately, I've got to fucking call it right now and give my final thoughts. So, here we go. This game has a lot of potential. It could be a fantastic game. It isn't. It has a lot of fucking problems. Its interface is horseshit. Its ability to control what's going on is horseshit. The campaigns are limited. And the only thing it really has going for it is that it's very pretty to look at and fun to watch. So, with that information, I have to say this is an ain't for now, for sure. So don't fucking mess with this unless you're a true naval combat simulator enthusiast and expect to be frustrated if you are.